I know, honey. So, we're on an adventure. This would be me and Kadlin going to the children's hospital because somebody decided that she didn't want to keep her food down appropriately. So she is not tolerating her food for whatever reason. We're not sure that reason yet. It could be a fast IV fluid, just needed a little hydration, little help, and then we go home. Could be that we stay overnight because we aren't exactly sure what's going on. Could be that, we do the hydration and then need to stay so that we can make sure that she gets back on her food without complications. So really, we're in a state of vast uncertainty right now. We just don't know what's going to happen. And with that, isn't it fun? This is life and times of Kadlin and fam. I have an overnight bag ready. I have it ready at the drop of a hat, really. I'll leave it mostly packed. I do take out a handful of things here and there, but most of the time I leave it packed so that if we have an event, whatever the event may be, I'm ready to go at the drop of a hat. We don't waste time with, oh my gosh, do I have underwear for tomorrow if I have to spend the night? Do I have pants? Do I have a shirt? Do I have my meds? Do I have everything I need to survive a night in the hospital? Which, by the way, is so much fun. Yeah. Are you smiling for the camera? Yeah. Yeah. When we came in, her temperature was well below normal. Well below normal. Rectally, her temp was 35.5 Celsius, which is really, really, really cold, especially as an internal temp. It is looking like we might have to spend the night because she's not tolerating her food. So we have to get her IV fluids, do a full workup, see if we can find an infection. If we can't find an infection, see if we can figure out why she wasn't tolerating her food. Till then, here we sit in the ER, probably for a few hours. Yay! IVs in, labs are done. Well, the blood draw's done. X-ray is done. Yeah, so those COVID swabs everybody gets, where it goes all the way up to your brain, and you're like, ooh. Yeah, poor Kadlin just had to do that. So now we're sitting, chilling, waiting forever and ever. And I am going to eat some chocolate now. Are you going to say hi? These are not the biggest beds. The ER beds are terrible because there's not enough room for me to really sit with her. Good morning. Here I am. December 30th. We stayed the night in the hospital. We got through the Aide emergency department and into a room probably around 1 a.m. It was 1 or 2 a.m. That's not an unusual amount of time. And actually, we got through the Aide comparatively fast to what a lot of people have to deal with. It was a very, very long night. So
yesterday morning on the 29th, I woke up at 3:30 a.m. That's not an unusual time for me. I wake up anywhere between 3:30 and 5 a.m. So very, very normal. I didn't go to sleep until I think I finished talking to people around 2:33 a.m. on December 30th. I was up almost 24 hours. This is also not unusual on the days that I have to take Kadlin to the hospital. Once we get all settled in, it's not a big deal. And sleeping gets normal. The first day, though, it's a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses, all of the specialists, everybody and their dog, which is totally fine, because that means we're getting the help that we need, which is why we go into the hospital. But it makes for very, very long days. At the moment, we have done X-ray, abdominal, chest, make sure that her stomach tubes are placed properly, make sure there was no blockage, make sure her lungs look fine. Went through the whole abdominal area X-rays. Then we gave her an IV, did a lot of blood draws, did a lot of cultures, and then we got some spit, saliva, lung gunk to check to see if there was anything growing in her trach and in her lungs. We did the nasal swab, the VRP, so the viral respiratory panel, that also covers COVID now. And we did a catheter to gather some urine to see what that grows. So far, there's no virus, no COVID, no rhino, no viruses. It's fabulous. Her blood cultures came back that, yeah, she was a little dehydrated, but we probably caught it fast enough that there's not really going to show much for dehydration-wise. And it doesn't look like the infectious markers are concerning. So now we're just waiting for the official growth, which can take up to 48 hours to officially decide these cultures look normal. So at the moment we are on antibiotics just because of the last hospitalizations. Empirically, you'll add antibiotics just in case. I probably got about 3-ish hours of sleep, which were very interrupted. Kadlin didn't go to sleep until 4, so I was actually asleep by the time she fell asleep. When I woke up, I immediately started talking to the student doctors, so your residents, your fellows. I talked to the respiratory therapist. I talked to the nurse. We had to go over medications. We had to go over what's normal, what's not normal. What did we miss? What was the scenario that brought us in? If you can think it, we probably talked about it. Heart rate, blood pressure, attitude, sleep schedules, general wounds. Talked about her urine output. Talked about how much she pooped. Then, after all that, I sat down just for a few minutes. We then had the whole team come back. So when we're talking about the whole team, we talk about rounds. This is a student hospital. So we have those student doctors, the attending, the fellow, the resident, And generally there's multiples of fellows and residents. Then you have your nursing staff, you have the pharmacy staff, you have people that are there just to take notes. So we're looking at, well, just depending on the day, depending on the severity, depending on, there's so many factors, but you can have anywhere between 5 and 15 people. And then one of the very other important people there, me. I sit, I listen to what they report. If I have information that may not have been passed accurately, I correct them. I give my 2 cents on things that go down. So if it's happening, I'm involved. I bring up my concerns. I discuss what I think we should be doing. Thankfully, most of the time they ask to involve me. But even if they don't, I butt in and I say, excuse you, I'm the Kadlin expert. You may be experts in your medical field and field of expertise. I have been keeping this child alive for 7.5 years. I have managed all of her doctor's appointments. I have managed all of her illnesses. I have managed all of her medications for 7.5 years. You'd better believe I expect them to listen to me when I say something. And thankfully, most of the time, I don't have to get annoyed. I just need to say, hey, this is what it is. And they listen, which is fabulous, which is what they should do. Because she has a trach and a ventilator, she will always be in an ICU. So she is always ICU. There are step-down parts where it's people who aren't acutely 100% you need attention now. In a couple hours, we'll be moving rooms, we'll be moving downstairs. I'll have a bathroom in my own room. I won't have to leave the unit. Can I tell you how annoying it is? Because you have to travel the entire 6th floor to find a bathroom. It's so much fun. But I'll have my own bathroom. Yay! The plan for the day: move rooms, keep her on IV fluid, keep her on IV antibiotics and as many IV medications as we can. Then later on today, we will start doing Pedialyte at 5 mLs an hour. My dear friends, happens to be a bed that I get to sleep on. And I use the word sleep very loosely. That's just a laptop backpack, normal size. It fits so well, so you can see just how much room is in here. I was really excited this morning about getting a bigger room. Didn't happen. So now, it's bedtime. It's been a long day, huh? I'll tell you more tomorrow. Happy New Year! I hope you all had a fabulous New Year, and you had fun, and you stayed up till stupid o'clock. Or not. I didn't. But thought it was about time I gave you an update on the baby. There she is. So cute. So cute. Hi, baby. Hello. So we got ourselves a bigger room, finally got a door and a bathroom, and it is so much quieter in here. Oh my gosh. I was going insane the other day because room didn't have a door. And it gets so loud. So loud in the ICUs. In the hospitals in general, it just gets loud. We're still not 100% sure what stopped Kadlin from tolerating her feeds. Whatever the case is, she's now getting back on her full feeds, working up to it anyway. She is still on partial IV fluid, but every time we move up on the amount of food that she can ingest, we go down on the IV fluid. So we're not actually waiting until she's back to 100% normal. All we have to do is get it to the point where she can stay hydrated when we take her home. The hospitals are wonderful. They're amazing, and they're needed. But I don't want to be here for multiple reasons. But one of the things is secondary infections. We are currently here. There are no infections brewing anywhere in her. And we want that to continue. When I got here, the ICUs were full. The emergency room was so full. Talking with the nurses, it's all been respiratory infections. There's been COVID, there's been rhinovirus, and RSV, a lot of respiratory infections. And I don't want Kadlin to get that. I don't want to get it myself. These are not pleasant. Viruses suck. So the goal is then to get her out before she catches one of those. Which means, since Todd and I are comfortable taking care of her food and we don't need the doctor's direction to tell us how fast to feed our kid, is it helpful to have other people around? Yes. That's why we come to the hospital. We came here because we needed the extra help. She needed the IV. She needed the fluids, and we couldn't get this far on our own. But now we're at the point we don't need to wait until she's perfectly normal to get back home. We just need her good enough. And that's the point we are looking at right now. I think we are at the good enough standard that we've just got a couple more advances. So we slowly increase the rate of the food going to her intestine and slowly decrease by the same amount of her IV fluid. That should take... Actually, that might be another 12 hours. So I think we're going till she hits 47 mLs an hour, which is 1.5 ounces, essentially. And then we will take her off the IV, make sure she still is okay. Well, we won't take off the IV. We'll take the fluids out, leave the IV in until like the last second possible. And we will turn off, or we'll pull out the IV as we walk out the door, because you never know what's going to happen. And so you don't lose your line when you actually have one, especially with how hard of a stick this kid is. It's looking like maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, we'll head out. I'm so excited! Ooh, cliffhanger! Did we leave the hospital? Did we go home? Or did we stay? I guess you'll have to subscribe and wait for next week to see how this cliffhanger ends. Woo!